The Central Club.
What's going on, people? Welcome to the Central Club. This episode is brought to you by Re-Inspire Printing and Weekend Defender. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the club, and hit the bell button to be notified of future content. Today, we have a very special guest all the way down from London, or across from London, I should say. I'm very excited to speak to this gentleman. I have seen him on a few other well-established podcasts, and you know, I really wanted to bring him to the Central Club, really, and get to know more. I think some of the things he's been speaking about more recently are very relevant to life in Britain in 2025. So I warmly welcome Mr. Shyam Batra.
Thank you. You said that nice, not Shyam.
Well, I did call him Shyam Batra at one stage, but maybe that's the Welsh.
That's all good. It's all good. Nice
Thank you
to
for
meet
coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
How's things?
Yeah, good. At least the sun's out and it's not covered by any like Bill Gates stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we've mentioned the sun situation because it is absolutely boiling outside.
Yeah.
So I decided to dress up like I've been dressed by my parents at 5 to go on holiday. Shyam, being the well-dressed gentleman he is in his suit. Is that a City of London tie I see?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think anyone has this. It's the only tie I've seen
Well, it's,
in the whole city of London even.
Well, City of
Strange.
London's,
Yes, well, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
There's a lot to talk about them.
Well, you have
boys.
lived an extraordinary life. First Indian boxing promoter.
Mm-hmm.
You are a mortgage broker. You also run for the mayor election against Sadiq Khan,
Yes.
one of the candidates. You're also the chairman of International Human Rights
In Africa,
in Africa.
54 countries, yeah.
Fantastic. There's a lot. Ambassador for what? Sorry.
I don't really use the title. It's, I mean, they give you the
I
ambassador
don't know
title.
why I'm using the aircon remote.
Yeah. They give you the title anyway, doctor, ambassador. I just want to be called Shyam. It's easier. It's nicer. But human rights is kind of sat in the wings, you know. We ourselves in our country don't have human rights, I do believe, because it's not ministered properly because the governments are not taking any action for us. And I did this I'm going to send you a video of an alien coming to our world. And the first person he meets is a guy. And he says, I want to go to your leader. I want to speak to your leader. And he said, what do you want to speak to him for? And then he starts explaining to him what is government and what happens in the process. And he's like scratching his head wondering, what planet has he come to? But it's a really interesting, like a little cartoon thing, you know. But it really exemplifies what government is really there for. And government is there for us because we vote them in, a group of people, to come in to fix the things we want done. Now, I've not heard any politician, or rather politrician, I call them, basically, because they are. They got a degree in doing this, and it comes for free. But the point is that they work for you. You don't work for them. Why do you go out and get your vote, put it into a little box, and then suddenly that box gets travelled into a van and then switches to another van and then goes here, goes there, finally reaches its destination? That is not democracy. Democracy is that if you are empowering someone, even me, to go into government and act for you, so you're almost like a negotiator, aren't you? But you're acting for you.
They're representing.
But they're representing themselves. There seems to be a clean divide between us and them. And this is where our people must realize that we cannot be segregated. The most important thing in a government's brain is to keep you segregated, not integrated. Because the stronger you are together, the harder you are to break. And if you're broken here and broken there and, immigration, this has happened and that's happened, this has happened. And people's anger gets up, their fury goes high. So I try and speak to people and say, don't jump to the bait. Don't rise to the bait. There's no point, is there?
Yeah, it's really sad that
it is.
It's common knowledge that that's what it is. Like you speaking, this is not. Oh wow, really? it's like we all know this as well,
Yeah.
but we still go about our daily lives
Yeah.
kind of as if like we're helpless, you know? Do you actually think that the vote, you was just talking about voting processes and how it's all done.
Yeah.
Do you actually think, because there's a lot of people in this country especially who just believe that it's all a waste of time anyway, voting doesn't matter because the people who are in power will always be in power. Do you
I
believe?
think I posted something about don't vote. And because, I mean, if you take these council elections just now, what's happened from last year to this year in the council elections? Has anybody done anything in our country? Have they fixed the potholes? Have they worked out social services? Have they dealt with things that need to be done? No, is the answer. Majority of the councils in this country are bankrupt. Why they're bankrupt, I don't know, because every year they get refunded. For example, what is a council? A council is a body created by government, elected individuals. Some in most countries are within their system, but majority of the time they're elected. Again, it's the same process. You know, you go vote for certain people like we've just done.
Yeah.
But the problem is, my question to you is that what is so special? Let's take reform. So they get a few seats, they got a couple of councils. I don't know. And okay, it's been a year. Maybe they've lost those councils and got new ones now. I don't know. But what has happened? What is the purpose of this? The purpose is to collect money from us. Again, it's the same story, right? Why are the councils set up? So they can pick up your council tax, okay? Now, you didn't ask for this to happen, a council tax. It just happened, right? So there can't be a contract between you and the council because you haven't signed any papers. You just get a bill in the post, but you never requested a bill. And on that bill, it says, oh, a little bit of fire, hospital, streets cleaning, and so on. But none of that's happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
And-
even if like, you know, you're content and happy with paying council tax.
No,
if
I
your
don't mind
council was,
paying.
but if your council was actually doing the work they're supposed
Yes.
to, fair enough.
That I don't mind paying. For example, you've paid your taxes for the end of the year, right? You've got your profit. You've given the tax man the money. That money is yours. You haven't given the tax man anything. You got to remember, right, that we go back to the word government. They are elected by you and me and everybody, yes? So they should be acting on our behalf, shouldn't they? But they're not.
But do you actually believe that that is actually what is happening? Do you believe when Labour just came in and won their landslide, do you believe that everyone did vote for Labour and it did go through? Because there are a lot of people who believe that voting is just a facade anyway. Like, you know, it's written anyway. 10 years is going to be Conservatives, 4 years will be Labour. Then we might go back to the. Do you believe it's always just put in place, or do you believe voting
I believe
is
it's
true?
farcical, and I'll tell you why. For many years, why do you need to get thousands of people one evening to count your votes? We are not children. We are not at school. We don't need a little pencil and a crappy piece of paper going into a little church somewhere and putting it into a box, and that box going in the back of the van. Right. I don't know if you remember these movies back in the day when the votings were on, you could see the vans picking up the boxes, going into some place and then coming out and going into another van and then suddenly ending up at the polling booth or wherever it is that they're going to start counting. Why is it that we can't have digital processing? We can do a blockchain. I created a blockchain election thing, which I haven't brought out yet, but I've created the bones of it so that you've got your phone. This is your personal space. No one can take your vote away. It can't be taken away because it's in a blockchain.
I think what people have the concern there is if it could get hacked. That is one thing.
Well,
you know?
it can get hacked manually by your hand by someone doing it or putting it into a van.
I agree.
Look,
Either way, it's like we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. In a way,
we are in a way, yeah. But the point is this: that one of my goals, I'll explain to you about an organization I'm going to set up. And I want to set it up for all of our public. It's going to be something amazingly special, completely different to the political parties that have parties as the word party. It is not a fun thing here. We're serious about work, business, to fix our country. You use the word party. To me, party means I'm going to a club or a disco or something. It's a party. It's fun, right?
Well, the Conservatives, last in power, they were partying. We know that.
Oh, well, they were. And to be honest with you, the leader of the Conservatives, the new leader of the Conservatives, should have had her brains intact. And she should have apologized to all of the nation and said, I'm really sorry for what has happened, for my party that did this damage to you. Please forgive us. Please help us to rebuild and regrow. And anything and everything that you think we did wrong, we will put right. But they didn't do that. They're like in a different world.
They feel very entitled, don't they, the Conservatives?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's almost seems you've like got to be a very rich person or somebody in that stature to join them. But you need to relate with everyone.
Yeah.
You have to be like Trump. Okay, he's filthy rich now. But this time last year, he was upside down. There was court cases on him. There was charges here, this, there. Suddenly,
I think it's not just the money with Trump, though. It's how he resonates and how he looks at people.
he's a businessman. I mean, like when you're a businessman, it's easier. But when you're just a normal person that you want to come and run a country, what does Farage know about running a business? Let's be honest. What does Richard Tice know about running a business? What does anybody from the Green Party or this party? They don't know because they've never tried and tested anything. They don't know what the perils have been for businessmen like you and me, having small businesses and whatever, going through the tribulations, the taxes, the VAT, the rates, and all these
It's
compositions
hard.
of things. It becomes extremely hard. So it makes you stronger and weaker. But if you come through that, you're a strong person. You've made it, But the problem is that our people, a lot of them, rely on a good, strong government to support them. That if something happens, they're there for them. This is our country. This is not we're not like just come here for the sake of coming here and sitting down and making our money and going home. And then we realize that our house is not even our home because it's mortgaged to the mortgage company. They own the charge on it, and it's not even your house till you paid it. I mean, mortgages are another story. There's a whole new world to discuss with those. But the word government means to govern. To govern what? It means it should mean to govern the things that are wrong and to get our people engaged, to help us and so on and so forth. So they feel it's part of their country. I mean, imagine I was Prime Minister and at the end of the 4 years, we've got £5 trillion in our bank account, which is your money. We could say to you every year, you know what, guys, we made $1 trillion this year. You know what we're going to do? We're going to keep some in the box and we're giving the rest out to you. Do what you want with it. And in fact, we won't even charge you any taxes for the next 3 years.
That would never happen.
It would happen. It can happen and will happen if you've got strong people that support you. See, you are our weakness. That's how I would look at it. You would be, I am not your CEO. I'm your servant. I'm working for you because you put me there. You said, go fix the door. And I go fix the door. And then you say, well done. Here's another 50 quid for fixing the door. Thanks for doing a great job. Where do we ever hear that? I don't see any governments in the world. I mean, I'd like to see a surplus in our country. And I'd like to see that surplus when, like you run a business and you've made money, you have shares, you give the shares to your people in the company because they've been with you for years and you just think, wow, without them, I would never have had this size of a company.
That's what happened. That's how it
And then I
should
say,
be.
well, why don't I give 20%, 30% to them? Like 20, 30% is a lot of money. Everybody is living. One of the things I'll talk to you about later is that I took these 49 people off the streets of London. That was, to me, the most hardest job I've ever done. And that was when they took me out of the race. I still went back. I still went back to try and help them because I couldn't just leave them, and I was angry and upset myself. So this is why I think that I'm here to fix things. I want to fix things. I'm not interested in politics. I don't want to. I don't care who's swindling who's doing what. I want to just fix the roads, the councils. I want to fix people's money. I don't want people to pay tax up to 80 grand. I think that it would be better to have our people wealthy than our people poor,
Of course.
right? Prosperity, not poverty. That makes life easy for people. I mean, these are my four goals. Transparency, not secrecy. Prosperity, not poverty. Homeowners, not homeless. And champions, not criminals. Now, to me, that is a city, a family, and a country. And city, the word city is what I'm going to name my I already have. It's called city. City is communication or community. Infrastructure, building. Transition, we're growing and moving. And the last of all is youth, the kids. And this is what we're all doing it for. If our people can't live in prosperity, why should they live in poverty? It doesn't make sense. You know, you think about everything that our governments are doing today is money from our pocket. You go out, park your car, you've got to pay a fine. But it's your money.
Yeah.
You're paying the fine from. You go and pay council tax. It disappears. Nothing gets done. It's bankrupt the next year. It's your
in an
money.
ideal world, yes, you're right. This is what it is.
So I was saying to you, transparency, not secrecy. Now, if every council office and the government actually opened their books and showed us transparency, ask Starmer to show you what is the state of our country. Oh, we've got £22 billion black hole. Yeah, but you can find £300 million for Ukraine.
And where do you think that black hole went?
There's never a black hole. There's always been money. England is supposed to be the fifth largest country in the world. We also have these guys who take our cash, a lot of it. So there's a lot more to learn about what really happens. I wouldn't say behind the scenes, but the problem is that it's being held from us, withheld.
Well, do you want to just, I know it's probably it's a whole podcast in itself, but in a nutshell, explain to the people who don't really know
Yes.
what the City of London plays on the world stage and what does it actually mean for Britain? Is it part of Britain?
Well, the City of London is a 1 square mile, as you know, place where they operated from for many years.
Who are
I think
they?
it's City of London. City of London goes back to about 700 years, I think, from memory. But it was formed as a corporation. It is not part of England. No, you're right. But it is
It's like you got the Vatican, City of London, DC. They're like
pretty much all square miles, if you think about it. But the City of London also, like London, has deep pockets, deep corridors. In other words, there is buildings down below our city. In case of an emergency or something happens, we have a working city underneath us, underneath Harrods, all the way to the airport as well. You don't live in London, but does anybody ever see a Harrods van? I've never seen one in all my life because they're all from underground. They get the goods from the airport, etc. and stuff, and they come underneath, go into the corridors, go upstairs, and then they fill up their places.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I believe, if I'm not wrong, Bristol had an underground city. It's closed or somebody's bought it. I can't remember. But London has a massive city. Most countries in the world do it. New York's got maybe 20 floors down below for the wealthy, super, super wealthy. Case of a nuclear explosion, a bomb.
So it's basically there are, you would say, cities underground London where people could actually live.
There are people underneath. I believe Ministry of Defence, MOD, are downstairs.
What below the underground? You mean even below the underground?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. It's a old history. Remember, you got to remember, England is a very, very old city, like Rome, like most of them, the ones that were founded, But the point is that there are a lot of things going on. I believe there are certain occupants handling our cash, and there are, I don't want to say the people, But there's a group of people, a group of 12 people around our country, most of the world, that handle everything. I wouldn't be surprised if Starmer's been told what to say, what to do, when to say it, and how to do it, because it seems to be everything seems to be written on a piece of paper that you've got to learn somehow. The words that come out of his mouth are not natural. Like, you've asked me questions, I can answer you, but I haven't been trained to answer those questions for you. I'm doing this from my head, from my heart.
It is very computer.
Yeah. So the City of London's function, I think, I've got a feeling, and don't quote me if I don't want to be wronged, but I've got a feeling, and I'm not saying to the public it's true, but I've got a feeling that all of our money is going here. Yeah. How can the mayor's office gets 18.1 billion a year? I tell everybody on the podcast, they get 18.1. Mayor's office gets 18.1 billion pounds a year every year.
Wow.
Right. He then is the CEO of GLA, which he's now resigned.
Sadiq Khan.
Sadiq Khan. He's now got a lady called Mary, I think. I don't know her surname. She is on, some ridiculous sum, probably, I might get the figures wrong, 295,000, I want to say, a year. And then the GLA owns TfL, GLA is Greater London Authority. So that's the body. GLA then owns TfL, which is Transport for London. Transport for London generates a vast amount of money. Let's just say, just on the transport alone, you're looking at £3 to £5 million a day.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily, without doubt. Then you've got the rates and other sections and other things. You're getting a lot of money. This is why they can give you 18.1 billion a year.
How much is Sadiq Khan on a year, do you think?
156,000, I think. Yeah, I've heard, and I don't know if it's true, taxi cabs do tell us lots of stories, but that most of them are true, that he's building a house for £10 million in North London, which he's kept quiet. Where's he got the money from? If that is true, that's not right.
Do you believe, like, Sadiq Khan is the most hated man in Britain?
I think he's the most hated man in Britain and America and Europe and mostly around the world. How
can a mayor of a city be so hated?
Starbucks, guys, just to be safe.
He's digging it.
Didn't get any PR for that. Yeah. So go on. What were you saying? How can a mayor?
We're not talking about a president. We're not talking about a prime minister. We're not talking about a royal. We're talking about a mayor of a city.
Let me explain to you the role of the mayor of London. He has got the highest job probably in the world, next to Trump, below Starmer. You can't tell him what to do. You can't fire him. There's no one above his head. He has no autonomy above his head. So, makes him powerful, right? So, when you look at that role, it is not a role to be like, people come in like the ones that were running with me, the independents, oh, I'm this and I'm that and I can do this and I can do that. I studied 6 months before I went in and put my name in. I wanted to know everything what was happening, the knife crime, the problems, why there are deficits. They're all hidden very quickly. Have you seen any information on the web? You don't hear of him, do you? Because it's wiped out quickly before it comes on. And his role, he can resign, retire, or die. And
how come he's been on it for so long? Well, he can just go on and on and on, can he? It's not like terms.
I've said on lots of podcasts, which is true, and I don't care if people say it isn't. It is true. In April last year, there was a huge strike going to happen in London. He went and paid them £30 million. Well, the strike never happened, right? And he needed 1 million votes. No one was voting for him. I went to 7,000 people in 33 boroughs. I was only supposed to get 331 names. And me being me, I have to go out that extra mile, don't I, to find out what's really, really happening. And when I spoke to people, even I went to the mosques, I stood outside in the pouring rain. Get him out. Get him out. We'll do anything. We'll sign anything. Get him out.
What, even the Muslims were saying that?
Yeah. This man is a law unto himself. He's not a credible person, I don't feel.
He's not a very nice man.
And he's never put a reef on a dead person killed by knife crime under his watch. Me, I would be crying my eyes out. I've been to 17 families, I think, who either lost someone or somebody killed someone. And the hospitals, when I was touring all of the boroughs, 33 boroughs, including City of London, you had to go and get 331 names, okay? 10 from every borough. And that was hard. It sounds so easy, like 10 names. It is not. You have to get 331 names. You have to get the electoral registers.
Is that to
numbers,
actually be a runner?
See, now that's another issue. In September, October, I founded a team. We got a team together. And we then were given all our tasks to do and all that stuff. So we had sporadic meetings at City Hall. I'd never even filled in a piece of paper, right? Up until March 2024, they told us, you've got independents have got till the 28th of March to go and get their names, electoral numbers and registered numbers. I thought, well, that's only like 10, 11 days. There's like 6 million. Every year, it's the same figure, 6 million people in the boroughs. That's not correct. Every year it's growing. But they seem to find 6 million numbers. Now, I didn't realise that the parties, you know that nice word, party, the parties, they got all the stuff a year ago, right? So they didn't have to do any door knocking if they didn't want to. They had everything a year ago. The independents had to get the same names as me, the same electoral numbers, and they had the same time as me to go and get it because we weren't given the paper. We had to get the paper from them, so we couldn't go out beforehand and start touting. All we had to do was go canvass, knock on doors, see businesses, you know, usual stuff. But during my journey, I went to the ambulance services and they said, we can't talk to you. You're a mayoral candidate. We're not allowed to speak to you, the mayor's officer said. I went to the police and I said, can I come see your CID inspectors and stuff like that and speak to them? No, sorry, you can't. You're a mayoral candidate. You can't come and see us. We have to remain independent from you. Okay. I went to the hospitals after that. And then I went to about 15 hospitals. One hospital in particular I went to was a children's hospital as well. And I just fell in love with these kids. So I went out and got Lilo and Stitch, like, these toys. Oh, yeah. And they loved it, the kids. And I used to go and see, the parents were there. It was beautiful, right? But towards the end of the evening in my journey, I had about 3 guys with me. And most of the time they were with me. We stopped at a hospital in London. I won't tell you which one, but very close to Big Ben. Anyway, and I befriended these women there, the nurses, and I said to them, please, can you tell me what's really happening about knife crime? I'm really bewildered. I'm just worried and shocked that we just get the odd one here, mugging today, a killing tomorrow, you know. Is that true? She said, she wouldn't speak to me. She said, you're a mayoral candidate. We've been told definitely not to talk to people like you. I said, well, I'm going to keep coming here every night till you talk to me. I've got 12 days. That's all I've been given. But the interesting thing is, before I go into that story, is from the 12th of March, they told us that we can ring the councils and go and get the electoral register, the numbers. So I rang all the councils and they said, no, you have to ring the councils, not your people. You have to. You are the candidate. I said, okay. So I rang them all up and then they said, no, you're not a candidate. Not until the 19th of March. I said, what do you mean? 19th of March? I've been canvassing all along. I've been on shows. I've done this. I've done that. No, you are not a candidate until the 19th of March. Nobody is. I said, okay. So what do I have to do? Well, you have to call us on the 19th of March. I said, but that's only 7 days. How am I going to get all the names? That's the rules. So I call them on the 19th of March. I fill in the form. And then I said, is this form going to be for all the councils? No, you have to get 33 forms.
Do you think this is it's impossible?
I think so. I mean, look, listen.
Has it always been that way?
I don't know. I maybe, but the point is, Kensington and Chelsea, the name changes up above. The form is the same. What was the difference in having all of them there ticking the boxes and then saying, right, but it didn't stop there. Once I signed that form, then I had to ring the councils again for the register. Oh no, you need to get the electoral numbers. I said, but I know I need to get the electoral numbers, but what about the registration and everything else? What do I do? No, you have to fill in another form. You have to get permission to get the electoral register. Another 33 forms. Why they didn't give it to us in the beginning? First, you got to sign one to verify it's you. Then you get access to collecting the data. Well, I couldn't find the data. By the time I did all that, it's the 24th. I had a team of 6 girls, and we were really, I was running out there still getting names and stuff. You had to have £10,000. I had the money.
You have to have a lot just to be the mayor of London, don't you?
Yeah, and then I couldn't get the names. The girls really tried, because when you opened up the data, like for Kensington and Chelsea, the name of a person is here, the street is somewhere else. You have to search for the street and the name.
But surely you could canvass and campaign about I'm going to run for London now on social media, and then when it
Well, I
comes
know
to
it
the,
now
Yeah.
what's going to happen, and if
Would you go for it again?
I got my high hopes on setting up an organisation and running for Prime Minister, but if the mayor of London thing comes before 5 years of Starmer staying here, we certainly can't have him in for 5 years. That's just
So is it every 5 years the mayor of London?
4 years.
Every 4 years?
Yeah. So when people say, "Oh, I'm going to run for the election," "Oh, we're doing a petition," it's not going to happen.
I see a lot of people say
Yeah.
they think Sadiq Khan will be the next Prime Minister.
No chance. I'll tell you that now. I think you and I discussed a few things before, but I don't think there's going to be a chance of him ever happening that way. No chance. Has to be elected. It's not going to happen. Can't happen.
Really?
Well, it can't happen. How can it happen?
Well, did we vote Rishi Sunak? No.
Well, Rishi Sunak was inside a Labour Party,
Conservative.
Conservative. Sorry.
Yeah, but a lot of politicians got through that way, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. But
Is Sadiq Khan Labour? He is, isn't he?
he is. Yeah.
So
No, he couldn't become Prime Minister. It'll be it for him. They can't stand him as a mayor of London, let alone Prime Minister.
if you was the mayor of London right now, just tell me, what would you? Have you thought about what you would do about knife crime?
I already had everything organised and planned. I had a lady in North Chicago who was a CNN hero. She eradicated gun crime, 90%. She eradicated it herself by going to the gangland people. Majority of the problems are, I went to see the gangsters. I found out who the main ones were because a friend of mine works in the police and I got data. And I took 3 of my friends with me. I bought bulletproof, these vest things, the knife crime vests.
Yeah.
I wore them and I said, come on, we're going there. So I know they were bricking it already. When we were getting closer, I stopped the car, stopped it far away. And I found out where these people were going to be because they told me where they will be. The police won't go there. So I said, come on, guys, let's go. Oh, no, we don't want to go. We're staying in the car. I said, I just got you knife vests. You don't need to be scared. No one's going to knife you. We're just going to have a conversation. No, we can't go. I said, look, I've come all the way here. You're not going, I'm going. So I got out of the car and I walked there. And it was a bit scary, I would be honest with you. There was 5 big black guys there, really, they're big. I don't know how old they were, but they were big. And so I could see they put on their balaclavas. So they had this just eye shape, that's it. And I thought, oh, great, that's really good news. So I just prayed to God and said, please help me today. And I went to them and I said, look, we've got a lot of knife crime here, muggings, killings. You know what's going on, not me. You're on the county lines. You know what's happening with this because this is like an underworld situation. Who are you? What are you doing here? Why you come here? It's none of your business what we do and all this stuff. It got quite aggressive and I thought, I've got to calm this down. I said, look, guys, I'm running for mayor of London and if I win, I would like you guys to come and help me eradicate this crap that's going on, because there's a lot of it going on for no reason, and it's not needed. There are hardworking people living in our country, in our city, and yourselves and others are going around taking their jewelry, belongings, stabbing them. This is not right. What's going on. So I said, look, I'm willing to take my vest off if you take off your balaclava. And I said, just give me 5 minutes, that's all. Like a salesman has to say, just 5 minutes, that's all. So they agreed. He took off his balaclava, I took off my stab vest, I threw it on the floor, and we started talking. He said, you've got 10 minutes maximum, you need to get out. I said, okay, no problem. So we started. It was about 45 minutes after. And I befriended them because they said, look, man, we are fed up in London with all that's going on like everybody else. We have to do things ourselves. If we can't get anything done, we have to do it ourselves. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, we can't find jobs. We can't do this. We can't do that. London's a S-hole, And I said to them, look, if I win, I promise you, I will call you in the next day, because the first thing on my agenda will be to get rid of this knife crime. We're not getting people from abroad coming here. They're too scared. They've all been told, don't come to London. Go to Paris, but don't come to London. Knife crime. So, but it's not just knife crime, it's murders. It's other things, It's not just shoplifting. You get the odd shoplifter and what? But it's other things that are more important. Rapes that are unheard of, Christians being killed, dumped into the river. Have you heard of that? That's never even been brought up.
What?
Christians. Look up on the internet about the Christians' deaths, how many deaths there are. Just deaths, killings. A lot of people killing Christians for nothing. That's what, women mainly. It's sick, right? So I befriended them, but I didn't win. And of course, everything's back to its normal state, which is a mess. You can't have look what happened in Southport. Forget London. That to me has broken my heart, those poor little girls, their families in front of their eyes. I want to really cry about it. It's horrible to see these poor little girls who had a future, enjoying themselves. Yeah. And this is what this country comes to this. And he goes into a prison. I was Prime Minister. I swear to God, it will be capital punishment all the way to the bank. Women and children do not get touched at all.
Did you see that he attacked another prison officer the other day?
Yes, hot water, yeah, I heard. Honestly, I'm sorry. Look, if you don't have, when you train a dog, what do? Just let him do what he wants. You have to train people, right? Everything's about training in this life. We've all learnt we were all children, you, me.
We were a blank canvas.
Yes, and we learnt from our parents about life, I assume. So we grew up, okay, sometimes you do get derailed, I understand. That's normal life. It happens. It can happen to the best of us at any time. Doesn't mean you're better than me and I'm better than you.
Yeah.
It means that if I'm there to help you, then I should help you. It doesn't mean that, because I'm white or brown and I'm lying on the floor and people are just walking past me. This is why I say to people, please, 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 please. I said last year, I say this year, I even said about the ULEZ charge that he will expand everything, and it happened, no one listened. But I say to everyone, the most important thing out of all of these podcasts is please integrate. Doesn't matter if he's Muslim or Chinese or Indian. If they're born in this country, they deserve to be remaining in this country. I know Trump has sent people who are not born in this country, but what I'm trying to say to you is that the government has an agenda. We're not in it. We are not in this agenda. He says we'll do things. I haven't seen anything that's happened from July to now.
So identify their agenda for us, please. What do you think the agenda is?
I think it's to ruin us. This C40 that we haven't spoken about yet, 15-minute cities, is the agenda you've got to be focused on.
2030,
We
is it?
somehow have got, yes, we somehow have got to stop this agenda from happening because it's going to 90 countries around the world. So if you think you can run to Dubai and live your freedom life, ain't going to happen.
No.
In Saudi, they've already built the line. They were building these huge complexes.
Yeah, I've
You
seen
can't get out of them.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is. But in your 15-minute city, imagine I want to come and see you for a podcast. No chance.
Well, it's designed similar to like typical council estates all over the country, where it's like you got your shop, your community centre, so that all the old people didn't have to go far. Well, it's that without the option of wanting to leave. Like you ain't allowed to leave.
No, it's more than that. You can't drive a petrol or diesel car. You have to buy electric. Not that I think cars will be around. You'll have taxis and stuff. You
won't even
can't-
need a car.
No, you
You
won't.
won't be going far.
You won't. You won't be able to buy the food you want to buy. You'll get a calorie-controlled diet. You can't fly anywhere. Maybe once in 3 years if you're lucky. You can't get any clothes. Sustainable clothes. You have to keep your clothes for around 3 years before you're allowed to buy anything.
Wow.
You can't go to the cash machines and draw out as much money as you want. You'll be told what you can do. Of course. So the idea is that you will have a job or a business, a life, right? Because now you can't see your customers and they can't see you. Things fall down, things happen. Your businesses will close down. You'll be living in a house that may be mortgaged or not. You may have to give the house to the government so you survive. I don't know. These are agendas.
So this agenda, like, number one, where have you come across this? And number two, when you talk about this now, which is I've seen online, what is the comeback you're getting? Is it this is a lie? This is not true? Are they denying it? Like, what is it?
Well, why did they create C40 15-minute cities that no one even knows about? The name itself is hidden. Who is ever going to know about 15-minute cities? C40 doesn't just pop up. This was an invention by Ken Livingstone, I think, or he was told to get it going, but then Khan got in and started implementing it during the COVID period. It was hidden from us. He's gone to 80 mayors around the world to join. And these mayors are similar to him. They have full autonomy. Mayor of New York. If you go to the c40.org website, c40.org, I urge everybody to have a look at it. c40.org, you will see a beautiful, glossy, standard website, and it will just show you about sustainability, climate change, all of these things, and they will not talk about you being locked in a 15-minute city.
I'm keep going. I'm just going to look up now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to have played. Can I have played this or not?
Yeah, if you want.
Am I able to play the actual wording? Because I think it would be nice.
All right, you do that, and I'll grab this up.
WEF has created called C40, and it's called C40 Cities. I would urge you to certainly look on the internet about it, and then go to all of the TikTokers and see what they're really saying. Basically, you won't be able to drive a petrol or diesel car anymore. You'll have to buy electric. If you want food, you will get a calorie-controlled system sent to you by text saying, this is what you can eat today. This is what you can have today. If you violate any of these things, they'll freeze your bank account. That is the next step. These are stages in which they're going to implement this stuff. And this was signed up by the WEF, and the WEF has signed up with our mayor in London as the chair. And he has gone around the world to communicate this C40 to all of the countries in the world. And most of the countries are looking at adopting it. Now, I am going to abolish it. It is a hopeless position. We are going to be in an open prison, or shall we say a COVID, for the rest of our lives. We will not be able to work unless it's in our 15-minute city. It's diabolical. It's not this is not the right thing. And it's been
that video, as you know, has gone to that video's gone to 56 million people now.
So, and that was you, yes?
Yes.
So, Around the world, C40 mayors and the cities they
Yes.
lead are taking ambitious, collaborative, and urgent climate action
Yes.
that aligns with science-backed targets. They work together across borders to order to protect people and communities everywhere and build a more sustainable and resilient, equitable future. Now, this is a proper website, but it actually says here, explore our cities.
Yes, check.
What's with the word in there? Explore. So could you go, if you're in that in the one city, could you go to another? See,
No.
I don't understand.
So what you do, basically, if you look in there,
It's like a brochure of where do you decide to live, like.
yeah. So you've
that's where
got
you're gonna
countries
stay.
there. You've got countries there, and you've got the mayors that have signed up to it in there. That's how you know that they've
Yokohama,
signed up.
Cape Town,
Yeah. So if you
Queensland
click on
City,
Cape Town,
Toronto, Dhaka.
yeah, look for somebody, look for the city in Cape Town, and see who the mayor is. You'll see a name of a mayor, and then you'll see statistics of it as well. But these are the guys that have signed up to this program, and more most probably. There was 80 mayors, 90 mayors. I remember. There
Sadiq
could be-
Khan, member,
And he's the
member
chair.
since 2000. He's the chair.
Yes, he is the chair of this. You have to get rid of him, the snake. He is the chair of the 15-minute cities by the WEF, and
Well, that's why you was never going to become mayor, mate.
yes, probably. Look, I had a chance doing it. I had to launch this because I just had to do it. It was my team. We did this in February.
Do you think that's why you
It's
didn't
one
have a
of the
chance?
reasons, yeah.
It's because you went public with that.
They blocked me completely.
And then I've seen articles where they talk about you believing in aliens and stuff, trying
Yeah,
to
I
discredit
do.
you and so on.
I've met an alien. I've met aliens. Do we have to talk about this now?
Yeah, why not?
I'm serious. I have. I've met some. Look, I don't want to talk about it much. This is a conversation for you, me, and David Icke.
Yeah. Well, just give me a quick brief. What do you mean you've met an alien?
Well, I've met someone not from this planet. They're not from this planet. They came here in the 1946 agreement in America, captured in America. The whole family. There's a family of them. And this is not the first. It's not the last.
And are they human-like?
Absolutely. Very smart. Live long. Our bodies, I want to tell you that this is why all these longevity capsules and things are coming out now, because our bodies were designed to live for 400 or 500 years. I've just put a post in about a yogi who's lived 750 years. Would you believe it? He's not an alien. He's lived for 750 years. Another one for 500 years. That our bodies can live long. There is a guy in, I'll find you his name, in Australia. He's found the mechanism of our body, that there's some kind of switch type thing. I don't know what you call it, but it will make you live longer. There are now
They've
these
been turned off with us then, would you say?
I would say so, yeah. This has been an agenda for a long time because, look, you can have whales living for 1,000 years. Apparently, in this universe, years ago, look, I'm not a loony or anything, but I read things as well. But they're giants sleeping. They're waking up now after 1,000 years. Work it out. Size, mind, whatever. But we are not the only planet in this solar system or any solar system or infinite systems in the world. We are not alone here. We just happen to be on this planet. If you look at what Musk found out about Mars, it's a red planet, they called it. There's a reason for it because it must have been blown up.
They do say, actually, that on there is nuclear fallout
and Earth
readings.
And Moon is the same as well. We are lucky that we have this, but, we are so intelligent, our people. So intelligent that we can make telescopes that can go far beyond the lifespan of us, even, to see what is really out there.
But then there's more intelligent who can travel here. If you come here, you're more intelligent than us.
Look, they've been coming here for years. If you look at the backbone of the pyramids, what happened with the pyramids? Underneath it, they've got steel structures that you've never seen before in your entire life. Now, they are still trying to hide it from us, to say it's false. But somebody please explain to me, how did they geometrically make that at that precise place, at that precise time, to face the sun and get light out of the, what was it designed for? It wasn't just designed for a pharaoh to be parked there.
And it's, you know, it's aligned perfectly with our star systems. And the other thing I find really fascinating is that you've got all these different famous ancient civilizations. You've got
Yes.
the Mayans, the Aztecs, the
Yes.
Egyptians, some in Europe. And they all lived at different times,
Yes.
but they all built pyramids.
We actually have
Why?
time travel here in our country.
But why did they all build pyramids?
Well,
And they were,
because,
and we can't build them now.
well, because
Something's visited them and showed them the way.
exactly. They had maybe they had giants in those days. I don't know, but look, a small man can't rule a giant. I don't think.
Well, we were speaking earlier with a previous guest, and he was talking about how, and I do see a lot of validity in that. How we have lost technologies.
Yes.
We were smarter.
Yeah.
I believe that whoever's ruling us and running this world, they have tried to eradicate the old world. And
Well, they do say that you're in. This is why COVID started, the old world and the new world. They're saying that the reason COVID was started, I believe, is that they wanted to get rid of the ones that are not needed, basically. This was the agenda. Now, it all went wrong because some of the ones that were needed were youngsters, etc., who have gone. And this was like a 1-5-25 session. It was just continually going. One person would get it, 5 more would get it, and 5 more, and 5 more. And it would just spread like wildfire. I mean, why did this have to happen?
do you believe in COVID, or do you believe vaccinations kill people?
No, this was thrown in the air, 100%. It cannot go any other way.
So you believe COVID is real, but it was man-made, it was purposely
It's
put out
just the
there?
name. I mean, why is it that some of the movies that even Kardashian's ex-husband, what's his name? I forgot his name.
Kanye West.
Kanye West. He did some song in 2012 about COVID.
Yeah, it's all mad, isn't it?
Look, we use the word conspiracy when we want to, but we have to open our eyes and realize that there are a lot of things that are real. And we just don't. I mean, if you look at the Amazon, there's sections in the Amazon. There is so much time travel going on in the Amazon alone because they have these portals everywhere. And there's a section in Amazon, I believe, you can look on the web, that time stands still. Actually, like stand still. Literally, like 5 years could go by and it's only been a year for you. And you've gone back into the normal world. And 5 years, people have got older and stuff like that. I can't remember the place, but if people want to look it up, it's in the Amazon where time stands still. It
Wow.
does. So we've got quite a unique lot of things here. I mean, imagine, right? We're still a globe circling in space right now. We're on the ground of this planet.
That was the next question. Do you believe we live on a globe?
Yeah, and it is round, not flat.
Okay.
It's impossible. If you had a round wheel, and unless the suspension was busted, then it would run like a square. How is the world flat? When you say the world is flat,
People think this is a centre plane and the stars are just wandering stars and we live in a firmament. That's what people
we
would
can't
say.
live in a firmament because what does the sun do? The sun can't.
If they're our night lights, the moon and the sun.
Yeah, but it doesn't work like that. The sun, if you read...
I don't know what we live on. I wouldn't say it's flat, and I always say this, but I haven't gone out of space and looked at the Earth myself. Ever since 9/11 and things like that, I just don't know what to believe anymore. And you hear about the moon landings. Were they real? I don't know.
Well, they say
I
they
can't
weren't real.
get signal now, right? In 2025, I can't get signal from here to my parents' house on my phone, right?
Yeah.
How the hell did Richard Nixon ring Armstrong on a fucking telephone to space?
This is all a lie.
So
they've proved it as well. Even they've said on TV that it was done in a studio.
yeah,
It's
Stanley
like,
Kubrick.
yeah, it's like Biden's inauguration. Maybe Biden wasn't even alive. Who knows? They did it in a studio somewhere.
Oh, he's that's mad.
I mean, don't even go there. Don't get me started.
Let's reveal back a bit to integration.
Yes.
What is integration to you? What does integration look like in the UK?
Look, integration, the first place integration will begin, as you know, is children in schools. So they would meet all types of children, Chinese, Indian, black, white, yellow, pink, whatever. But that's where it starts. We as adults know this because we grew up like kids, right? But today's society, and even if you go back into the 60s, 70s, you had those programs called Love Thy Neighbor and all that. I don't know if you remember those. They calling each other names. I know it's done in jest, but the point of the matter is that when I'm Indian, when our Indians came here, they did all the dirty jobs. Didn't matter, but they did them. But they were all working people. None of them went on the dole and took money from the government. Bangladeshis came, started Indian restaurants all over the shop. So this type of nation has always been a working, integrated nation to build and grow and help other families. I remember my father was in a very high job in India. He just got up one day and left, came to London. He had a very, very high, powerful job with next to the Prime Minister. He had everything, chauffeurs, maids. He just said, not doing this anymore. I'm going to go and help people, similar to what I want to do. He came and helped all the Bangladeshis. He started helping them, helped to get a house, to get sorted, find a business.
And he was Indian. That's fascinating. That.
Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, right, we can't discriminate. You know, when you look outside in the world, you have you're not born with eyes that are black and white. So I hate it when we use the word black person, white person, yellow person, alien. I don't know.
We're all human.
Don't you think it's like weird that we have to determine who somebody is by the color of their skin?
Well, image is a big thing, and when you're young, that is how you look at things. You know, it is. You know, when I was growing up, I think the first black person I saw, I was just like, as an innocent child, I was like, you know, because at the time, I probably wasn't around many black people. You know, I come from quite a multicultural area as well, but in school, I was like, oh, you know, he stood out from the rest of us because we were all white, you know? Not in a racist way. I just think as we're young, we're very inquisitive, and when we see things for the first time, everything can be alien to us, you know? But I think the bit where I was heading was, you know, I'm all for integration. I'm all for us, you know, living under the same banner of law or land, and we abide by those rules. What do you say to people who don't conform to our way of life then? What would you say about that? Because you look very integrated. You are as British as they come.
I'm British, mate, innit?
Yeah. do you know what I mean? Like, but some people don't want to. And how would you go around?
I'm in the middle, not even black or white. I'm just stuck in this.
No, but your culture is, like you said, colour shouldn't matter.
No.
It's the way of life is how you live and how you integrate. But there's a lot of people who don't integrate. And
they're the people that really should. And there's no point being far right, far left, middle this. What is all this rubbish? We got a job to do, us people now, all of us, you and me and the public. We got to get these guys out. How are we going to do it if we don't integrate?
Stay central.
Exactly. We have to be together. If we are together, we are going to change this country and we're going to get our country back. I feel that aliens have intervened into our world, which is our country, and they're doing what they want to do. They're not asking us for anything. You know, that they can't do that. They're living off us. If you think about it, there's nothing. What has the Mayor of London done in 10 years for us?
He's done a lot of bad.
He's got an OBE for knife crime, as far as I'm concerned.
But what's he done?
Nothing.
You know, he has caused more knife crime, probably.
Yes, he probably has. And other things. There are a lot of things wrong in our city. There's too
Division being big, the one of them.
This is why I created City, Communication, Infrastructure, Transition and Youth. I want it to be a family, a country and a city, right? And then the 4 goals. That married together is going to be our organisation. If people come and join that organisation, I'm going to do some fabulous things in there. The price is going to be really low because we do need to get some money in. But the money we get, we can start fixing things. How many other parties are doing that with their donations and all that other stuff? How many other parties are... If Farage got £100 million, do you think he'll be sitting here? No chance in a million years.
Well, let's dive into reform. What do you think of reform?
Look, I don't... it doesn't matter to me what I think. I don't have anything against Farage or Richard Tice or whoever they've got in their group. What I care about is what would they do for our public? Not once have they ever said anything. It's all about immigration from Farage's mouth. What? A few months ago, he wanted to bring Shalene and Begum back. He would have been the first one to say no chance. What was that all about? I don't know where they stand or where they sit. I think people voted for them because there is nobody else out there that they can believe in. The other parties were a waste of time because they've all got into their sleaze wagons.
I think they're just conservatives, a new version of the
This is why I said,
Conservative
if
Party.
I start something, it's not for me. I don't want it. It can be for the public. And I'm going to set up something very, very special and smart so people can dive in with us and be comfortable. They have a bed and a pillow.
What about the FTP party?
What party?
Let's start it for the public.
Which FEP party?
No, let's start it.
We
What
are
about
going
the
to
name?
start it.
The
You're
FTP,
we're
for the
coming-
public.
We're coming on board. We're going to do city, and you're going to be part of it because it's going to be yours. It's going to be a part of our system, and the money that we get, we can start using to fix our own things. You call this an opposition? They do nothing. I mean, if I look at Parliament, let's just go back to the politics situation or politics, shall we say? It's a good
like
word,
that,
isn't
yeah.
it? So you're running for an MP. You go to 20,000 people. First of all, there's no chance you can go to 20,000 people when the election is held. Okay, it's just not going to happen unless there's 20,000 of you that can knock on every single door, right? It's not going to happen.
You campaign, don't you? You do
One
door
person
knock, but
will
social
say,
media.
I saw this guy, he's fantastic. Let's vote for him. And then the word will get around. This is the man we need to vote for.
Yeah.
Now, let's just say you win, okay? You've won your seat, your first day in Parliament. What have you just done? You have now left your constituency and you've joined a club called the Member of Parliament. Yes? It's a club.
It's a club, yeah. Yeah, you
So
remember?
when you get in there, people like Nigel Farage will say, shut your mouth and do as you're told. Let's just say, and you will have to do as you're told. Now, the point is this, that if you were let's just say, if you were, let's change the name. Let's now call it Member of the People or Member of the Public. What happens then? Your constituents that you think you left are still with you because you are still representing them. Yes, they represent them, but try making an appointment with any one of them in your area. Oh, I've got this problem. I need you to help me. Oh, well, yes, stand in the queue. We'll see if we can get someone to find you. Well, you going to meet the MP? He's too scared to meet you in case he's got shot or a knife, which I understand, which has happened in the past, right? Point I'm making is you have joined a club, a nightclub. You've joined that club. You are now part of their world. You're not part of the constituents' world. Just think about the name, Member of Parliament. Means you've joined a club.
Not all constituents can be part of it then. I thought if you're a constituent...
No, I
councillor-
mean, like, if you say you're Cardiff North, you become a Member of Parliament there. You represent that Croydon North area. 5,000 people, doesn't matter how many, right? Forget the number. The point I'm indicating to you is that you've joined a club. It's a club. It's a man and woman's club. Do you see now? It is. So you see, any party, if you call for a referendum today, which I think is dangerous, very now,
Yeah?
because
Well,
it's
what do you
better.
think?
It's better the devil you know right now. You know what he's about now, Starmer. You don't know if someone else falls into his shoes, what's going to happen? The systems are all broken everywhere. Britain is broken.
Well, who else do you think would make you
I
worse?
don't think anyone right now, until we form a alliance, a group that we can get into government.
But it seems very splintered at the moment, and reform,
is.
it seems like everyone's hellbound on. It really seems like they want to be with reform, don't it?
No, it seems it. But have you asked the people? Oh, we're protesting. It's a protest vote. We've got no one else to vote for. What does that mean?
Well, that's what happened, I think, with Labour. They just voted Labour because they didn't want Conservatives.
Well, yeah. But if Conservatives have opened up their pockets and said, we're really sorry, guys, we're going to do our best.
Do you think migration is a problem?
Before we say that one, I actually think Sunak gave Starmer the election.
Yeah, he did. He admitted that.
He did. He gave him the election. And for his personal reasons as well,
Yeah.
which no point going into.
Seems like you know a lot more than others.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, we can talk about all of this, but it doesn't take us anywhere further.
No.
What we've got to do is to
It's
awaken
good
our...
for people to, it's good to awake people with these.
Yes. We're doing it in a nice way. The information that I'm giving you are all facts. Things like aliens, I don't have to, you can call me what you want, but I know what I know. I'm not thick and I'm not stupid and I'm not loony.
I think, to be honest, like famous words Ronald Reagan once said, I think if aliens did show themselves now, that would probably be the best thing for humanity, for us to all come together.
There, in America, it's a lot of hidden truth, a lot. David Icke will tell you. I did a show with his son, but there's a lot of truth. There are quite a few aliens there that have integrated now already. Antarctica is a closed shop, but it's a whole new world you've never seen in your
Well, it's a
entire
club
life.
in it as well, though. Certain leaders do know about it.
Yes. There is a massive hole from one side of Antarctica to the other where you could fly 20 planes together or 30 planes. It's so deep, so big. When you enter that area, you've never seen anything. You think you're in like another planet.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
And I've seen
Pictures
friends of mine in LA in the sea. I've seen some machines coming out. How's that possible? They've even got footage. They won't release it. They're too scared. They think people will think they're loony or something.
Yeah, no,
But
I've heard stories.
This planet is very habitable for a lot of things and a lot of reasons. It has a lot more minerals than you and I know about. Yep. For example, a lot of the countries have so much. Look at Saudi. It was all sand, desert. The UAE, it was all sand.
Yeah.
Whoever was going to think of building anything there. But geoengineering and other things allow you to do this. But what I don't understand and realize is that the gold, the silver, the uranium, all these precious metals are being dug out of our earth. It must be damaging something somewhere. Or they are growing again. I don't know. All these minerals are live and they can grow. But if you're taking things like gold out, and I know there's been a lot of gold out of our earth, and oil, what is it doing to our earth?
Yeah, you're sucking it
It's
dry.
it was there for a purpose, right? Before man even understood
Yeah,
that.
that's true. That's true.
You see, but it's for our infinite pleasure. But it could be destroying our earth that way. That's why you've got earthquakes and other things happening, because you're digging deep into the earth's
Yeah, you
crust.
think it's that rather than the global warming side of things.
And that's why the earth has to be circular. It can't be flat. Because if it was, then you would just reach a flat ceiling and that's it. And then all the other planets.
No, if it if it was round, we'd be digging into Australia soon.
Yeah,
But
but look, you got to realize that geometrically the earth is spinning 5,000 miles a second.
Yeah, but that's
As well.
it's those things I can't get my head around. Where it's like we're spinning, then
No, 'cause
we're
we have
rotating around
gravity.
our moon, then we're spinning into
Yes.
our and I'm like,
So
I don't feel that.
So the solar system and us is like a bicycle. All the components are running together. They're all kind of moving to help themselves, you know.
But why do we always see the same night sky then? Why haven't we?
I think well, we did, didn't we? We saw more, didn't we, in January? We had this special phenomenon.
Our planets, but I mean the stars. Surely we'd be moving into different constellations by now.
No, not really. You got to realize that you see, it's like a bicycle, as I said. All the components are moving together. They'll always be the same.
So the system. So you say that the universe is moving as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, everything's moving. I mean, look, the sun moves. It goes. You can see it's moving from there to there every day,
No, I know that. Yeah.
right?
Of course.
And then it's
That's
serving
local.
all of the world. But the sun is so many trillion miles away. You wouldn't even imagine to get there. It's. I think there were some kind of machines that tried to get as far as they could to the moon to the sun, but the amount of blazing heat it's sending out is enormous.
Of course.
And like you said, we've never been out of space. But I do believe in 2027, 28, you're going to be getting regular flights to go out. In space, this is where internet was created, because since the world began, internet has always been in space. Always. This is where internet's come from, the satellites. They've harnessed it from up above. No one's made it here in the country, in the world. Internet is in space. That internet, if you harness and turn that into electricity, you could fly from one solar system to the next in 5 seconds, because speed. The internet. This is why they've been controlling the speed on your internet.
I've never looked at that before, really. That's quite a weird one.
Well, if you look at internet, remember back in the day we had this
dial-up.
Yeah, plug it in and wait for the internet to come on, and you would get wait for 5 minutes for one page to change to another. That's what's happening, right?
Dial-up, yeah.
But because they know that they found infinite internet up above, like Musk has got satellites up there now. But I created this thing called wireless energy a long, long time ago with a professor I met in 2012. And I was in my bathroom one day and the phone was dying. I could hear it going beep, 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 right? And I'm thinking, why can I not charge my phone over the internet, right? Because they are little radio, they're like electronic pockets. They're electric. They're little electronic pockets, the internet. It carries the data and that's it, and ends there and leaves it there, right? That's what it does. So I met this guy and I tried to explain the idea to him that, look, this is what I've thought of. We've got a mobile phone. Why do we need a wire to plug it into the wall? Why can't we just go to the grid, find a way of getting the electricity, creating an app and sending the electricity in the air, which we can't do because it's electricity, turning it into Wi-Fi, like putting a force field around it, say, turns up to the app, says, let me in, let me in, let me in, pay your money, whatever, and that phone starts charging.
What? So what are you trying to say, that you thought of the idea and then someone invented it?
Correct.
Really?
Yes. This professor I met, I gave him the idea, and it took us 3 years. 2012, Apple gave us about 5,000 phones just to check the charging, that it would charge. And we perfected it to 14 minutes and 12 seconds. But I've lost touch with him now, and it's been a long time. It's just sitting on the shelf. It's a shame, because think of it now, 2012 to 2025, no one's even thought about it. But we can create electricity. The internet is a really, really, the faster the system, the quicker you go somewhere. This is why electric cars, imagine you paid, I don't know, whatever, 4 quid, 5 quid a day, say, and you had wireless energy going into your electric car. This is another thing we need to talk about, electric cars. You know what's happening with the electric cars, do you? If you read the internet, some of the electric cars that you've got, passengers sitting in the back seat, they can get sterilized. Just think about it. All the batteries underneath. Have you thought about that? Have a look on the internet. It's a very interesting thing, because
it's scaring me now.
But it's
the truth. It's awareness. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, which goes on to the bioweapons we were discussing.
Yeah, do you want to quickly jump before we go? Because there's one other topic I want to talk to you about before that. But go on quickly.
No, go on.
No. You say about because that was a bit bizarre what you said. So with the ULEZ situation, you're telling me that in London City, there's bioweapons.
Well, there's a guy.
Sounds a bit too far fetched.
There's a guy now on the internet. If you look into your phone, Mark Steele, read up about this man. Apparently, this man has found bioweapons in the traffic lights in London and also in Birmingham. And they have what you call something like biological weapons in there. And apparently, the light-emitting diodes in the traffic lights pulsate at such a high speed. Put in Mark Steele bioweapons. I think you'll find him. He's quite well known now, this chap. And it can cause cancer and blindness. And this has been hidden from the public as normal.
Mark Steele.
Yeah, look him up. Put in bioweapons next to him. See what it says. They say he's a conspiracy theorist, but he's not. Because I believe he's just sent papers to City Hall about this. And I think they're going to be completely in shock. I'm not sure if it's.
Right, I will. I'll have a look at him when I will.
Have
I'll
you found it?
well, there's a video link, yeah, but I'll watch that when I
Yeah. But
go elsewhere.
but so
That's mad.
yeah. So I mean, like, how many other things are there that we don't know about that are going to damage us? We've got Bill Gates on one side poisoning our food. Now he's traipsed all the way here, and Asda, all these other companies are doing his brand. I urge people not to eat that or buy that at all. Then you've got 3D meats being made. 3D printed meats. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, it's fucking
This
bizarre.
is ridiculous.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Why do you think they're buying up all the farms? Why are the farmers not allowed to produce their own produce and serve us? Then they can get more money instead of being fed by the government money and sitting there idle. And then they're crying about their inheritance tax, which I stand with them, to be honest with you.
Oh, me too.
It's all wrong.
Oh, I believe if you work and earn something,
Yeah.
it's yours, and you're
Yes.
entitled to pass that on down to whoever you choose to, whether that's your bloodline or your,
In Russia,
gas,
electric and water, how much do you think it is?
much cheaper, isn't it?
Yeah. Like $15 a month. What are we paying here?
Yeah.
What are you paying in your house?
Quite a lot.
A lot. For what? I don't understand why we live on this planet. We're born here. The ground we walk on is basically not ours. When a real king was a real king, he served his public. Yes or no? What does our guy do? He's in the WEF. So is Beckham.
It's disgusting.
It is. And they are all standing for the things that are wrong that we don't want. But why are they doing that when they could be serving the
Klaus
public?
Schwab, man.
Well, funny enough, last Saturday, I went to Portugal, I got off my plane, and I'm walking up the road, and I saw this guy with glasses. I'm thinking, it can't be Klaus Schwab. I looked on my phone, and that guy was sitting there in Portugal airport with some women and stuff. I don't know, tall guy. I saw him, and he started walking behind me. I thought, shit, I need to move away from this clown. But I think, as far as I know, I'm not sure who's taking over, but I heard Tony Blair was going to take over the WEF. Just thought I'd let you know, because he likes opening doors, doesn't he? That's true. But look, we have to wake our people up. I don't think a lot of them are sleeping from last year to this year. Now that they've seen the antics of Labour and what they've done, we've got all inexperienced people in our government. They don't have a clue about anything. I could have stopped this war in Ukraine and Russia. It's called using common sense, which none of them are done. You can't hold a meeting with Zelensky and not call Putin. Bring them together and get the damn thing done. Well, it's like they're like children playing with dolls all the time. And they're messing up our world. We need Russia. You know why? Because they have the electricity, gas and water, first of all. And then they have other things as well. This is what I mean about integration. You see what I mean now? They're segregated over there because he started the war, whatever. It doesn't matter what happened. It's happened. Wake up and let's do something about it. And I think that if we could just bring civilization back. We've got India and Pakistan now fighting.
Well, this is what I was going to ask you,
This
because
is
you're an
another
Indian.
problem.
Do you want to just...
Yeah. Well, India and Pakistan, as you know, was one country, India, before 1946. In 1947, sorry. Everybody lives together. Indians, Pakistanis, Muslims, Jews, whoever, everyone was in India. And it was an integrated society. Now, apparently, 3 of the members of the government were killed by the Pakistanis. And this is how most of this problem has started. And I think it was long overdue anyway, because there's always been fighting at the Kashmiri border, constantly, same things. So India wants to show its might. For me, if I was Prime Minister Modi, if I was Prime Minister there, I would have gone to negotiate. I know the damage has been done
With India or
with Pakistan, say. I would have gone myself.
If you was the Pakistan representative.
No, if I was Indian
India, okay,
representative,
yeah,
I would have gone to Pakistan because it's under military rule, by the way. There's
What
no
is?
Prime Minister there because Imran Khan is sitting in prison.
Yeah, it's very sad, isn't it?
And my lawyer is his lawyer. So I get to hear a lot of information about this.
Yeah, what was that? That was mad, weren't it? The military locked him up then, did they?
Yeah. I think what you got to remember is I still stand by my principles of saying that being a good person is better than being a bad person. It looks like you've got to be a bad person in this world to stay on the side of the devil, I think. And I don't want to do that for even if I've got to go through the rough, which I have. I've gone through a hell of a lot of pain to be here. But when people read on the web about me, for example, they only read about what has happened or I've done something, but they don't know the story. And they don't realise what has happened. Like when I ran for Mayor of London last year, LBC, my ex-wife rang up. And
Oh, okay, I'm going to be started with that guy, man. James, whatever.
well, not him. No, this other one. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember. I can't
What about
stand
him, though? I can't stand LBC.
No, I can't. But he said to me, "Oh, your name is Shyam Batra, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah." "Oh, why do you use your name as Shyam?" And I wanted to say, "Well, Nick Ferrari's name is Nucolo Ferrari. Why doesn't he use Nucolo Ferrari? What difference does that make?" So they tried to pick Henry Riley, this clown, Henry Riley. That's his name. He's one of the investigators of LBC. And he said, "Oh, we had a complaint from somebody in Essex and London." And I immediately knew it was my ex-wife who would have put the foot in. And I got
Henry Riley.
yeah. He's a joke, that guy, completely. But they just want to battle.
Oh, my gosh. Look at the clip on him.
Huh?
Look at the clip on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah. And he said, "But you're running for Mayor of London. You're a struck off director, aren't you? Why didn't you tell anyone?" I said, "I was about to tell everyone, but you certainly got in the door." And I told my story to him about what had happened with me. But
Oh, just ignore him.
basically, in a nutshell, I had hotels and I built them from bottom up. I did well in Earls Court, Paddington and Kensington. To cut a long story short, I fell in trouble with a couple of banks, not of my doing. They just, when the markets crashed, they wanted their money back. And they were doing everything they could to try and push me down. After about 12 years, I lost the case against one of them. I couldn't raise the money. I was blocked on raising the money. I could not raise it, and they took my hotels away. And then I had to fight a fight to, I took the money that was owed to me, it was about 105K, which was money that was owed to me. I was getting 80,000 a month for paying the mortgages and some extra bits. That's it. But they don't know the story, do they? But it was quick for them to get a receiver in, sell my properties that were worth £40 million for £16 million to a group they already found. And you know what they did? They took my properties, left all the debts at my doorstep. Have you ever heard of that? When you buy a house, you pay 100 grand to me. I have a 50K mortgage. Mortgage is paid, and I've got 50K, right? Didn't work like that. I had 103 apartments. They took all my apartments, sold them to these Jewish guys, took the properties, right? Put the assets all in their name, and the debts were all left in my name. And then every month, I had 6 lenders. Every month, they were putting money into my mortgage accounts in my name under the same properties. That is fraud. Does anyone talk about that? I lose my assets and my life, and they get away with murder, and the receiver takes 1.2 million quid and says to me that, "Oh, I took the money. Henry Riley doesn't have a clue. If he's a proper investigator, he should investigate properly instead of making a story like that.
Henry Riley.
Blah, blah, blah.
Henry Riley, I haven't got a clue, mate.
But like, I still ran for Mayor of London, and then they put on there, and he believes in aliens. On top of it, it's in the LBC thing, right? It says he believes. They put it on Twitter, and over 25,000 people said I'm a good guy. what a nice bloke. He should be mayor of London. I gave my heart to London, and I always will. I love my country, you know. And
But what do you expect from like the really far left? Really, that's what LBC is, and you know they're just the same as probably on the far right. There's just division.
I just didn't get to tell my story properly, and I don't want people to think that I'm a crook or bad guy. But this was all about me.
I don't think you're a bad guy.
This wasn't about me stealing from 15 people or robbing a bank. This was my hard-earned work.
He's trying to expose you, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I stood my ground like I would. I would back anyone. Yeah. I mean, when I took these 49 people off the streets of London, as a quick one for you, I befriended them in the evenings. My last job was around about 10, 11 o'clock. I would walk around London and I'd see all these homeless people there. And there was loads. Honestly, I didn't know where to look. From Hyde Park to Selfridges, there was just lots of people just lying there with blankets and cold, you know. So I started befriending some of them. And I befriended about 49 of them, 3 women, 46 men. And I felt so bad for them. They said, "Oh, give me money." I said, "No, I'll get you food. I'm not giving you money. I'm going to give you food. What do you want? Do you want Indian food?" "Yeah, get me Indian food." "Okay, fine." So I'd have to go all the way back to Essex to go to my friends' restaurants, call them up and say, "Don't throw the food away, please. Make 49 boxes for me. Let me take them to them. At least I can give them some food, some chapatis, whatever, what you got." So I used to go all the way back. But by that time, it's about 12, 1 o'clock. And I would be there till about 3, 4 o'clock. And then I knew I had to get out by 9, 10. And I'd do a bit of work in the morning for my property stuff. And then I would head out and meet my team. And then we would go do our stuff that we were doing. And this was the routine. And over about 9 months, up to the mayor's election, I had made good friends with them. By then, we became friends. And after the mayor's election, I was so upset and sad that I had some information sent to me saying that you could have won this because a company rang up and said that there was over 1.6 million emails asking where was I in the race. And of course, all my emails were blocked. I didn't even know. I just shut my phone down. And that week, when he became mayor, I had a boxing show. One of my ex-fighters was fighting. And I then had a show with TNT Radio, I think it is, at the time. So in between that, I was very, very upset. And like, it took me a few months to get over the loss of this. And so I befriended them. Then I came back. And I said to them that, "Look, you can't live here like this. We've become friends now. I can't come and talk to you on a street. I've spent a lot of time getting your food, helping you out, helping you here and there with your phones and all this other stuff. It's time now for you to become men and women and get up and come and support me." So I woke up one morning. I don't know what happened to me. I'm sure I got a calling from God. God said, "You've got to help people. You've got to help these people." And I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do? They're on the street. What power do I have? Nothing.
Yeah.
I said, come on. The only good thing is I had taxi cabs, black cabs. They were sponsoring me.
Okay.
And I said, "Please, can I have 7, 8 cabs? I'll go to get these 49 people to the council." "Are you sure, Shyam?" I said, "Yeah, but I'll bring something in there because they are not clean. They're smelly a lot." And they said, "Don't worry about that. Where do you want to go?" So I told them venue. I said, "These are the people, go pick them up." And luckily they were all kind of together at that time. And I said, "Come on, you have to get up and go." Oh, we don't want to go. We're too scared. We don't want you to get in any trouble." I said, "Forget about me. Today is the day that something's going to happen. Either I'm going to go into prison or you're going to be staying on the streets. Either which way, you got to come with me." So they got in the cabs. We got to the place. And they all came out. There was like 49 of them. Can you imagine? And the security guard there. And I said, we want to come in and see. We have to see these people in here. You can't bring these people in.
Where did you go?
To the council. I won't tell you which one. But we went to one of the biggest councils in London, right? And eventually I got them in. The lady called the police. She said, "We've got armed robbers here. We've got these guys are gangsters. They bought all these people and they're standing in a queue in our place and they might rob us. They're gonna they're going to do something to us. They've got guns and hand grenades. These 7 police cars turned up. The 7 police cars turned up, and like I'm bricking it now. And this guy walked in, and his one inspector, 2 sergeants. I always get it wrong. Yeah, 1 inspector, 2 sergeants, and about 5 armed guards. And like I looked at them, and I'm thinking, I'm in my suit, this same suit, and he came in and he put his arms there, and this lady came walking really hard. You know, like when these small ladies think they got lots of power with their mouth, and he's see him there. He's breached the peace. Get him arrested now. He's going to bomb us. He's going to do all. He said, what? He said, what are you talking about? And he looked at me, and he looked up in the sky, and he just put his arms together like this, and he said, if I ever hear from you and any of your people, I promise you I will come and arrest you and every one of them. You sort it out with these people here. You've made us come here after 16 phone calls. It's not good. We could be doing something more important than you telling us that this man is armed. He's in a suit. What's he got on him? I don't even need to arrest him. What am I doing here? And I said, officer, is there any chance you called the CEO downstairs? And he said, you heard the man. She called him down. He was bricking it, this guy, tall, skinny guy, £630,000 a year, my friend. And he walks past the homeless every day. £630,000 working for a council, government, our money. So I said to him, I've got a question for you. If you don't resign today, latest tomorrow, I will call LBC, UBS, JBC, whoever it is that's around in London to come and talk to you about what I've done and what you haven't done. You've broken your own rules. You're on £630,000 a year. It's disgusting. That money could have been going to better use. You need to resign. Next day, he resigned. But that's not the point. The point is that I got these people a house, a flat, a studio, right?
You got them all housed, every single one of them.
Studios, yeah. In 6 weeks, let me tell you the crunch of this. During that time, I went to a well-known brand, which I can't say, and I said, look, I need some iPads. And the guy said, I know who you are. I've seen you on social media and stuff. And he said, you're a really great guy. I said, what do you want? I said, I need 49 iPads. And I thought he's going to go, what? 49 iPads? And he said, come on the day when we open the new pads and stuff and the new stuff in the morning. Here's my number. Here's my details. Call me. So I went with a couple of my guys, and he rang me and he said, where are you? I said, I'm standing in the queue. He said, no. I said, come to the door when you get here. He said, so he came and got me, and he said, do you mind if I tell people what you've done? Because there was a whole queue out there. I said, no, I don't want you to tell anyone. I want to keep this quiet. This is a charitable thing. He said, my friend, anything you need from this shop, you can have my heart to yours. I said, no, I don't want anything, because I'm doing this out of charity from my heart. And I don't want to be taking, and even though I need an iPad and a new phone I could do with one, I said, no, I don't want it. So we took them pads. And when I got to the house, they had already got a property. I'm going to tell you the last thing, which you're going to be shocked about. They got their thing. Then I got them universal credit, 750 quid each. 2 years, no bill payments. So they didn't have to pay gas or electric. I think it was electric only, I think, something like that. And water. And so they got that. And then I said to them, look, guys, your first check will be September. Your first check. Set a group up of you, trust, make a trust in a bank. I'll show you how to do it. Go and do a trust. Put 5 of you on that trust, and all of you put your 250 into that account. You've never had money before. You can live on 500 quid a month. It's more than enough for you. You're not paying any gas and electric. You got food, maybe something, maybe you can go see your kids, and you know what I mean. So it's now what? Where are we? May. They've got £110,000 in their bank account. Right? They've got £110,000 and 49 people with them, their group, because they're all together. They all came together. None of them have disappeared. Now they can start a business and they've got manpower. But the worst thing I want to tell you is that I knocked on doors each time a new person came in. I went to some of the stores to get them bedding and stuff, and I did. I got the bedding and I got all their bits. But the worst thing I want to tell you about this story is that I knocked on the door of the neighbours and I said, look, these guys have come off from the street. please look after them and stuff. And I said, I just want to ask you, how long has this place been empty? He said, mate, this place has been empty for about 5 years. I said, sorry? 5 years. And I went to all of them, between 3 to 5 years, all those places I told you were empty.
Yeah.
Now, they could have gone to vulnerable people. Okay, whatever. They could have gone, but they were empty in London.
Joke. Shyam, I could speak to you for hours and hours and hours.
Sorry, I've gone on too much.
I've enjoyed this. I really have.
Yeah.
What we do with all our people
Yeah.
who come on, we ask them to, down this camera here, if they could leave with a positive message for the people. Mic to your face and tell them what you want to say.
I want you guys to speak to me if you ever want to speak to me. I'm on Shyam Batra for Mayor on TikTok, Instagram, S Batra Official. I haven't got many people on there, and YouTube. But one message I really want to give you guys is that be positive, be motivated. Don't look at the negativity. We have to sometimes give you some bad insights about our work, what we do, but we're doing it for you. And we want you to integrate and wake up and understand that what system we're going through right now is, let's just pray that it's going to be very, very short term and that we don't have to live to 5 years of this joke business that's in. But I ask you all to back us, support us any way you can, follow us on our platforms, and we will constantly get the message out. Am I right?
We will indeed.
And I think that's the best thing to do. And I'm always here for anybody. You guys have got my Instagram. I integrate with everybody. I speak to everyone. Please do follow me. Send messages, whatever you want. If I can help you in any way, I'll try. But I'm here to help. And I want our organisation, City, when it's formed, we'll do a nice press conference, set it all up properly, and then invite you guys in. And I'll be doing my town hall shows soon as well.
Yeah, there's a lot, and we'll definitely get involved.
Yeah.
Very, very nice man. Very touchable.
Thank you.
Reachable. Touchable. Very, very reachable.
Don't say touchable.
Easy to be, reached out to. Like I said, heart of gold. Really enjoyed this. It's been really, really insightful. Till next time.
Okay.
Stay central.
Stay central and stay happy and be motivated and look after your families. More important.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
The Central Club.